Retire.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. From this or from OnlyFans? Which one?
Ooh, I didn't know.
I have.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have 6 subscribers. It's not a lot, but they mean a lot to me personally, so I'm not sure I want to get off that. Not sure.
Yeah, don't give that up. I bet that's a big money maker. Bet it is.
Yeah, full disclosure, I'd never heard of it till about 10 seconds ago, but it sounds like fun. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Joel Embiid gets called out, Alex Ovechkin gets injured, and Jeff Saturday gets 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the Houston Texans riding Joe Mixon's 3 rushing touchdowns.
No, and it has nothing to do with the Texans' performance or effort. Though, you know, they only get like, I don't know, a B minus. And you're grading on the curve the opposite way because they played the Cowboys, who don't matter. The Cowboys are irrelevant and have no teeth. So you know, beating the Cow, even if they beaten them solidly and had an A-plus effort, they still wouldn't restore anything. It doesn't change anything, Tony. If I did give you the Wilbon Power Index in the AFC right now, Buffalo is on top. I guess Kansas City would be second, but you know who I might have in there in third place? Ahead of Baltimore even would be the napping, usually, San Diego Chargers. I would have Jim Harbaugh's Chargers up to as high as 3, I believe. So Houston would be like in 5th or 6th place to me. And look, you don't have to be great yet. It's time. You don't even want to be great yet. You want to hit your stride sometime in late December. Houston's got time. I still think they'll be okay. The defense is what I'm excited with and why I picked Houston to be in the AFC Championship game. But nothing last night changes that.
I'm really glad you explained the WPI, the Wilbon Power Index, for all the people out there that want to follow that. I'll get to Houston at some point, but they're not the story. The story is Dallas. Dallas is terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Like, they haven't won a home game this year. Every other team in the NFL, every team in the NBA, every team in the NHL, and their season's just started, they have won home games. Dallas hasn't won a home game, and not only that, excuse me, they've been down by 20 or more in every one of their 5 home games. Look, this is not a rum-dum franchise. No matter what you think of Jerry Jones, he has won Super Bowls. He has made his team a perennial playoff team, and they're horrible at the moment. They have nothing. It actually makes me feel a little bit sad, you know, because the NFL needs them. They're a really big draw, and there's nothing going on there. There's nothing going on there at all. In terms of Houston, I'm going to agree with you in this regard. I don't think they're as good as they were last year. I don't think they're as surprising as they were last year. To me, as you're pointing out, the Chargers are to this year what Houston was to last year to me.
Yeah. I like the way the Chargers, but Houston's got time. I'm not jumping off the bandwagon yet, Houston. You know, we have no problems yet. 1 week after Joel Embiid's return, the 76ers are still sliding. Philly lost his 4th straight last night, sits in the cellar of the East at 2-11. The Sixers actually led the Heat by 19 in the first half, still lost by 17. In a team meeting afterward, the injured Tyrese Maxey reportedly challenged Embiid to be on time to team activities like practice, calling him, quote, late for everything, close quote. Embiid reportedly accepted the criticism and told reporters, quote, we'll be fine. Tony, will they?
Do I think they'll be fine? No. I think they will get better because they can't get worse. They're at the moment tied with the Washington Wizards, who are the worst team in the NBA, and nobody thinks they're going to be fine. I mean, what the Sixers have going for them is they're in the Eastern Conference, where at the moment I believe there's only 4 teams with a winning record. But the 76ers are dead last in points scored. They are dead last in field goal percentage. They are next to dead last in three-point percentage. And now the implication is that we should ascribe all of this to the fact that Joel Embiid has missed games. He's going to continue to miss games. He's not going to play in back-to-backs. And then he's going to get hurt because he always gets hurt. And now you have another really good player saying he's late to everything. So I don't feel that they're going to be fine, because fine for them is to contend for a championship. I'm sure the Dallas Cowboys felt they were going to be fine a few weeks ago, and they're not fine.
Yeah. Tony, I'm going to spin this forward a little bit because I'm not going to disagree with anything you said. I'm going to spin this forward, though, and look at there is a positive element to this. Tyrese Maxey is the star going forward of the Philadelphia 76ers. He's respected in the clubhouse. He is beloved in the market, in the Philly market. They love Tyrese Maxey, and they should, because he's everything you should want a young star player and star to be. So him challenging the big man is essential, right? And so I think they're going to be not all right, but better, and then we'll see. First, they got to get Maxey healthy because he's going to be not the best player because Embiid is still that, but he's got to be the most important player. He probably is that, and he senses it, and that's why he held that meeting. Tony, I think they're going to get better, but here's the point you're making, and look, it hurts me to agree with you on this because I love Embiid. Tony, he's not ready to play. And when is he going to be ready?
Mike.
Like, he can't practice hard. He
They
can't
were
play
up
a string
19
of games.
points.
Yeah.
Up 19 and lost by 17. There was a period of time, 14 minutes and 37 seconds, when they were outscored 61-26. And Embiid was on the court for some of that. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, he was minus 22. No, you can't play your way into shape if you don't play. You can't. Let's move to hockey. And Alex Ovechkin. The Great Eight continued his torrid pace last night, scoring 2 goals for Washington against Utah. But with 14:30 to go in the game, Ovechkin came out with what is being described as a lower body injury after colliding knee-to-knee with a Utah player. Ovechkin has been listed as week to week. Wilbon, your reaction to all of this, the goals and the injury?
I have no reaction to the goals. I don't care about that. Ovechkin has scored enough goals. I care that he is playing so well. He's playing so well. I just want to see him. He's old now. I mean, he's been around for forever, and to have this kind of season, it's LeBron-like. And it's the same way I'm going to refer to LeBron and Steph Curry, guys who are royalty in their sports, all-time forever greats. Alex Ovechkin is that. And so I go back to like when Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles, and then when the great players have these things late, you just feel bad. I'm even going to go to a guy that I've lately disliked, but he's an all-time great, Aaron Rodgers. He got hurt last year. You just want to see the all-time greats play, give them an applause in their bell lap, and so we're not seeing that, and that's what bothers me. That's all I care about.
He's 39 years old. He's off to the hottest start he's ever had at 39 years old. 15 goals, leads the league. 15 goals in 18 games, on a pace for 68 goals, which would be his career mark. But when they say week to week, Mike, that's a little bit scary. This guy never gets hurt. This is a number that's amazing. He has missed 35 games due to injury in his entire career. 1,444 games. He's only missed 35 with injury. He's the big Russian machine. But he's 39 for the first time. Maybe injuries happen more often. Maybe they linker. He needs 27 goals to pass Gretzky, and we both know he's going to get it. But if he got it in the next 44 games, he'd get to that number ahead of Gretzky. He's not Gretzky, but he could be the greatest goal scorer. I mean, week to week doesn't sound good. It just doesn't for a guy who never gets hurt. Let's take a break. Coming up, Jim Harbaugh has had great success with his offensive line. We will ask Jeff Saturday why more teams don't stress that.
We'll also ask him whether he can see any reason, any whatsoever, the Ravens go away from Derrick Henry. Please stop.
Will there be conflict between Maxey and Embiid? Is there conflict there now?
No. Apparently, Tony, this was the thing to do. That Embiid accepted it and said, okay, big man. I mean, I give him all credit for that.
Pardon?
Let's spend time in the NFL trenches with our great friend, ESPN NFL analyst, Jeff Saturday. Jeff, we'll start with this. And by the way, nice tie. You look like an adult today. Last night, the Cowboys' left tackle, Tyler Guyton, grabbed a loose ball, tried to run with it. He got stripped for a touchdown that went the other way. Mike McCarthy said that Guyton should have gone down. But if you're a lineman with a ball in your hands, Jeff, what is your instinct?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Typically, I would tell you he should go down.
But we're 3-7. We can't stop a soul on defense. We got a backup quarterback. We got 2 running backs that are my age. By God, I'm scooping and running, baby.
Line calamity to some offensive line dominance. The Chargers have won 4 straight. Jim Harbaugh has made no secret of how great his offensive line is playing. Jeff, I think what we're wondering here, I know I am, and Tony and I covered the great Joe Gibbs Redskins that built with the offensive line. Why don't more teams, as they try to build, start with the offensive line, which can be completely independent, as Harbaugh points out, of everybody?
Oh, listen, the greatest line is when he said that the offensive line doesn't rely on anybody, but everybody relies on them. There's not a truer statement in football. And when you think about teams that do it, Detroit Lions, Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I know they're struggling on the left side with the rookie, and now they have Wanye in there at left tackle. But you saw Brett Veach after they got beat by Tampa go retool that offensive line. The best teams in the NFL, that is still the formula. It's no more complicated than that. Everybody understands that without an offensive line, you're only going so far. When you get these offensive lines that can punish people, you're looking at the Detroits and the Eagles, and they can run the ball. When the weather changes, you get in the playoffs, you don't have to depend on only your quarterback to make big plays for you. It changes the dynamic of teams. So more teams should do it. And unfortunately, they fall in love with all the shiny toys on the outside and forget about fundamental football. Physicality still wins in the NFL. I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Oh, that leads me into a pet peeve, and I know you're with me on this, because my voice, if it sounds raspy and hoarse, is because I was screaming at the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday to put Derrick Henry in the damn game at the end and use him before you get to the end. Jeff, am I wrong on this? Is there some reason to not give the ball to Derrick Henry?
Not at all. Not at all. Here's the thing. I think Todd Monken is a very good offensive coordinator in our game and has done a fantastic job developing Lamar Jackson, and they're at new heights offensively for the Ravens. But again, what I just said, how did the Steelers play them? Physicality wins in the NFL. And Pittsburgh's like, I'm going to stack a box. I'm going to go hit you right in the mouth. You might get me, but by God, you're going to feel a beating when you do. And for whatever reason, the Ravens' Achilles heel, whether it was the AFC Championship game last year against the Chiefs or even this latest example, they don't want to play physically. And I don't understand it because Harbaugh has the mentality, and usually his teams are built that way. But why even if you don't have him running down the forecourt, why on the 2-point play is he not in? Makes no sense to me. Even if he's a decoy, you got to have a man who's as big as defensive ends in the game 2 yards away or 2.5 yards to go make this play. So I 100% agree.
We will get you out of here on this. The Packers said they knew they were going to block a kick against the Bears, and they got one. As a player, how often does it happen, Jeff, that you see something on tape and you know that something big is going to come out of it?
Oh, every week. Every week you're circling in game prep and game plans plays that you're going to take advantage, whether it's the way safeties tilt against a play action, but particularly in special teams. Special teams coaches, they look for the smallest of detail, and they're going to find the crack, and they're going to exploit it. And when you saw where they went and rushed and the way they rushed, now, is it legal? It's borderline, like the push, the leverage, all those things. It's not going to get called very often, right? It's going to have to be blatant, and it wasn't blatant enough to call, but it happens every week, Tony. They understand, and you saw it in Houston and Dallas. The fake punt early in the game, and Mechie does not miss a beat, comes right downhill and blasts it. It's because special team coaches look for the finest of details, and they try to exploit it. And unfortunately, Green Bay got the Bears and crushed another game that the Bears should have in the win column. That's 2 this year so far that they just cut your heart out if you're a Bears fan.
Well, Wilbon is a Bears fan, and crushed is the right word because he's felt crushed week after week after week. Thank you, Jeff, as always.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Love y'all, man.
Let's take one last break. Still to come. The Jets make their second big firing of the season. They fire the owner.
And the 15-0 Cleveland Cavaliers Get a big
Going to point to the left. He sees Tranquil out there. He sends his offensive line out there, understanding here comes the blitz, okay? Now, as that offensive line goes all the way out to his left, Josh has to beat that internal pressure. Everybody's got a guy man-to-man. Coop at the bottom of the screen. They're not just trying to get the ball out of their hands. Cooper's going to double move them. They'll fake stutter in, and then Josh has to let the ball out of his hands early. That's trying to kill the blitz, not trying to protect against the blitz. 4 strong, meaning 4 people to Josh's right, okay? As the motion goes, they're going to rock and roll, meaning the corner's essentially going to pass it to the safety. Still man-to-man coverage. That's an indicator. Remember, everybody on the defense has a man, and then everybody's pressuring. As Josh drops back and peeks to back, that guy is going to peel. Then he knows, okay, that defender peeling, I have to drift away from the blitzer, find the shallow cross as we create that traffic to Curtis Samuel. The reality is this, Joe Brady and the Bills anticipated everything that Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs would do, and that's the main reason why they won the football game.
Chiefs visiting the Panthers on Sunday. All right, let's get to the Bengals. A loss to the resurgent Chargers. Yet again, they just couldn't pull it out in a close one. Joe Burrow nearly led Cincinnati to a big second-half comeback, but lack of success at the beginning of the game, that was just too much to overcome. In the second half, he had 5 completions of at least 20 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and an average depth of target over 14. But in the first half, yikes. His passes averaged less than 6 yards downfield. He had no touchdowns. Hawk, what gives with these Bengals?
It pains me to say it, but the real Slim Shady stood up. That's what happens with the Bengals. They are the team that you're looking at, that their record shows. 1-6 in one-score games. When you have a game like this, where you needed to get this W, and you come out in the first half and you have no fight, it tells me who you are, and it makes everything look crystal clear in the light. Second half, they figured it out. They played better, but this team just isn't great. They look like a great team because of the way that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have been playing, but when you look at their wins, they beat the 2-8 Giants, the 2-8 Browns, the 3-7 Panthers, and the 2-8 Raiders. They're just not that team, and they showed it, and now we can kind of put to bed what this future will look like as it pertains to the 2024 season.
Yeah, and they host the Steelers on December 1st. All right, for the Falcons, it was a 38-6 beatdown by the Broncos on Sunday. Falcons struggled on both sides of the ball at Denver. 32-point loss, their largest in a game since they lost to the Cowboys by 40 back in 2021. They had their second worst defensive efficiency in a game over the last 3 seasons and their third worst yard margin. Graz, what went wrong for Atlanta?
Hannah, they were completely unable to make Bo Nix, the rookie quarterback for the Broncos, uncomfortable in any way. They came into this game, the Falcons did, very depleted at cornerback, and they lost Kevin King in the first quarter. Nevertheless, they did not do anything in terms of trying to pressure Bo Nix. They sent 4 or fewer pass rushers on 89% of his dropbacks. And when they did not blitz, Bo Nix was 25 for 29 for 301 yards and 3 touchdowns. He might as well have been sitting in a recliner with a newspaper and a cup of coffee. He was that comfortable against the Falcons defense all day.
We'll see what happens with the Falcons next. They host the Chargers on December 1st, but let's get back to those Broncos, Marcus. On the other side, how important is it for this rookie quarterback to have that kind of defense that they have in Denver?
Graz, you know who did send blitzes to light up Kirk Cousins? It was the Denver Broncos, and they stayed in the same vein. Yep. Benito is starting to turn into an absolute superstar. I've been obviously eye-catching on his tape, had 2 sacks. We saw the pressure that they were able to generate on Kirk Cousins. Look, holding any team to 6 points is phenomenal, but we've seen the Atlanta Falcons have the ability to be explosive. Mooney is having one of his best seasons. We know that you have a lot of weapons on that football team. And me and Dan talked about the Denver Broncos defense before they played the Baltimore Ravens, and I was like, just pump the brakes. And obviously that didn't turn out the way they wanted it to. But I give a lot of credence to what they were able to do to Kirk Cousins in this offense, who I think at times can be very, very explosive, like we've seen them be throughout this season. Denver is for real. It's a complimentary football team. They create takeaways, they create negative yardage, and they're giving a rookie opportunities with possessions and great field position to make plays. So that's another team. Like Dan said about Houston, you got to be careful about the Denver Broncos now, especially with the way Bo Nix is playing.
Real quick, Vance Joseph, who's their defensive coordinator, he should get some head coaching interviews again this cycle. He's been phenomenal. Patrick Surtain, who's a cornerback, he had him at some point this past weekend play from corner. the Mike linebacker in the Tampa 2 middle defense run through. I've never seen that before. Okay, so there is some stuff that he is doing with Surtain that is absolutely diabolical.
It was incredible talent,
Diabolical.
just incredible. Only the Chargers and the Lions have given up less touchdowns on the average
Denver?
per game. So Denver legit has one of the best defenses in the NFL. All right, coming up, news of the day out of New York. The Jets have fired General Manager Joe Douglas. Roz has all the insights on how it went down.